10 interesting things about the Fighters Guild that you might have missed. Starting off with Infamy. Throughout your adventure in Cyrodiil, you'll build a reputation for yourself throughout the land. Some will hate you, and some will admire you. You subtly build 2 stats that help the people of Cyrodiil understand you better. Infamy and Fame. Infamy is given to you based on the notoriety of your actions, your crimes, and your misdeeds. And Fame is given to you based on your heroism to the people of Cyrodiil. The Fighters Guild will not accept anyone who has achieved an infamy of 100 or more unless their fame outmatches said infamy. Also, it is not possible to join the Fighters Guild if you have a bounty on your head. Expulsion. If you, for any reason, end the life of a fellow guild member or rob them, you will immediately be expelled from the guild and locked out from the guild halls. No member will provide you a service until you talk to Master Velena Danton in Coral.
You've murdered one of your brothers. While we may die in battle, we do not expect to die at the hands of our friends. I offer you a chance for redemption. Do not return until you have 20 bear pelts. Take this time to come to terms with what you've done.
You obtain these bear pelts from merchants or from the beasts themselves. If you head back to Velena and ask for forgiveness, she has this to say.
So, you've collected the pelts. I trust you've learned a lesson. Your rank is restored along with all rights and responsibilities.
After getting accepted back into the guild, you are given one more chance to follow the rules and regulations. If you break them again, Velena has this to say.
Another theft. This is your final chance. Go back into the field and return to me with the horns of 20 minotaurs. If you return, perhaps you'll have gained some measure of character. Perhaps, though, you'll die. Then you're no longer the guild's problem.
Acquiring these horns can be a very difficult task for the untrained. Collecting them and offering them to Velena induces this from her.
You've brought back the horns. Your rank and responsibilities are restored. There will be no further chances given you.
This is your final remission into the guild. Doing anything further will lead to permanent expulsion. If you, for any reason, decide to accept permanent banishment, returning to your former guildmates provokes these responses.
None in the Fighters Guild will speak with you again. We have no desire to consort with common criminals.
By your crimes, you have been permanently expelled from the Fighters Guild. You have no further chance to atone for your actions. All guild members have been instructed to deny you service, shelter, and assistance. From now until your death, you do not exist in our eyes.
Quill Weave. For your first contract for the Anvil Fighters Guild, you are to solve a problem that our Venus Phyllis is having with her pet rats. With some investigation, you figure out that some mountain lions have come to a liking to visiting her basement at night. With some help from a hunter named Perennius, you guys make some quick work of a pack of mountain lions on the outskirts of the city gates, thinking it would solve the problem. However, you soon find out that the basement is still being visited by the cats at night. Arvina is convinced that our neighbor Quill Weave is responsible in some way and persuades you to investigate her. If by chance you begin this quest on the 7th day of any month, Quill Weave will not be found anywhere near Anvil. She actually will be making a routine trip to Coral to visit her close friend Casta Scabronia. So finding her on this day can actually be quite difficult. Another thing to point out is that Quill Weave will cancel the monthly trip altogether if her friend Casta has passed away. Bonus: no matter how high your disposition is with Quill Weave, if you tell Arvina that you saw Quill Weave leaving meat on her porch, Quill Weave will forever call you a rat.
What do you want, you? What do you want, you rat?
Lelles' quality merchandise. For your second contract for the Fighters Guild in Anvil, you are to help a distressed shopkeeper in the Harbor District by the name of Norbert Lelles. Heading down to the docks and having a chat with him reveals that he's been having a problem with break-ins for the past month and is in need of help. He tells you that the thieves seem to always come in at night after he's gone to sleep. Since you are a part of the Fighters Guild, Norbert entrusts you to stay the night and guard the shop while he stays at the inn next door. After accepting the quest, if you simply walk outside, you'll find the 3 thieves lurking the harbor.
No time to talk. Go away.
Amelion's dead. During the second contract for the Fighters Guild in Shadenhall, you are to head down to a small settlement near Leowin named Water's Edge. Someone by the name of Bienna Amelion is in need of assistance of the guild. Talking to her reveals that she's in a dire situation and has inherited a debt of 1,000 gold from her gambling father, who was dragged out last night for the outstanding balance. She plans to repay the debt with a family heirloom that was owned by her grandfather, who was buried in a nearby tomb. The only problem is the tomb is heavily guarded by the undead, and that's where you come in. When you enter the tomb, if you thoroughly loot the crypt, you'll begin to notice that there appears to be a complete armor set paired with the sword and plate of armor that Bienna wanted you to retrieve. The armor set is unique to its own, and you will never find another copy across Cyrodiil. When you return to Bienna in Water's Edge, you will have an option to repay the debt in full in exchange for the sword and plate of armor. If you're interested in keeping the complete unique set of armor with the sword and shield to go with it, paying off her debt is the option you want to do. Lady Rogbut. When speaking to Bruges Rokrash in Shadenhall for a fourth contract, you'll be ordered to help an old family friend of his, an orc noble named Lord Grumpdrumpf Groshrograk. Rumdrump's daughter has gone missing and he needs the assistance of the Fighters Guild. Heading down to his estate and talking to the nobleman, you'll find out that Rumdrumpf fears that his precious daughter has been abducted by a group of ogres that live not far from his estate. During the contract, you typically find Lady Rogbut unarmed not that far from the estate, surrounded by 3 ogres. However, it is possible during this rescue mission for Lady Rogbut to escape on her own from her captives and go into hiding inside a local cavern known as King's Crest, drunk and disorderly. For your fourth duty for Mordrin, Orain, and Coral, you are to head down to Leowin and figure out what has happened to some of your fellow guildmates that have been acting rambunctious lately. Talking to some of the locals, you'll find out that a couple Fighter Guild members can be found in the Five Claws Lodge, causing some trouble. Heading into the lodge, you'll find 3 guildmates arguing disruptively with the place a mess, and the lodge keeper frantically arguing with them. If you end up chatting with them, you'll learn that they're out of work because the Blackwood Company has been out-competing the guild for contracts in Leowin. It becomes apparent that the only way to get the 3 to stop being rowdy is to find them some work. After finding the Nord woman, Margaret, and getting the 3 employed, you can actually find them on their new job near Undertow Cavern, searching for Orc's Teeth, Azani's ring. For your next quest with Modrin, you are to help him investigate what exactly happened during the guild's botched contract for a sword named Sinweaver, which was known to be in possession of a mage known as Azani Blackheart. Modrin has doubts that the Blackwood Company came in and completed the contract after 15 Fighter Guild members died trying to retrieve the sword. Modrin expects foul play. After investigating the known area of the contract, you and Modrin find no evidence of any conflict, leading Modrin to believe that the Blackwood Company simply allowed Blackheart to move to a new location. Nearby is another ruin that Modrin expects Blackheart might be at, and he suggests the 2 of you make your way to the new location in search of Blackheart. Working through the second ruin, the 2 of you finally find Blackheart, who is hostile on sight. After the battle with him, once you have given Modrin the ring as proof of Blackheart's defeat, you will have a small window to actually pickpocket Modrin and reobtain the ring indefinitely. There is, however, no real benefit in doing this because the ring has no positive attributes and becomes permanently locked in your inventory as it is recognized as a quest item. Unknown guildmates. For your next task, Modrin sends you into the Forsaken Mine to locate a group of guildmates led by the guildmaster's son, Varanus Danton, who hasn't been heard from for days. When you arrive at the mine, you find nothing but trolls and corpses. You stumble on Varanus deep into the mine, deceased, with your fellow guildmates and a Blackwood member following the same fate. The guildmates that you find laying waste can never be met beforehand, and no one seems to ever acknowledge their deaths, only Varanus's. Hist Sap. During the infiltration of the Blackwood Company, Modrin has you go undercover to see if you can figure out why the Blackwood Company are so efficient with all their contracts. When you begin the recruitment process with the company, you find out that they're taking a special potion called Hist Sap, apparently from Jitsum Z's homeland. Although Argonians are supposed to be immune to the sap's effects, it still impacts them. This may be because the sap has gone bad and is from a sick tree, so it would have weird effects even on Argonians. Modrin will even point this out if you are indeed an Argonian.
They're using Hist Sap, and they claim to have brought a tree into Cyrodiil? Amazing! I can't imagine what the sap might do to non-Argonians. I'm a bit surprised it affected you the way it did, given your heritage. Perhaps something's tainted it. I'm concerned about Water's Edge. I want you to go back there. Make sure the company hasn't ousted the residents. Lay low. I don't want them finding you there.